Hey, I'm Brad from churchmediadrop.com, and I'm going to walk you through the January drop so that you can utilize it to the fullest and save yourself a bunch of time and energy, because there's a ton in here that you can utilize from Sundays all the way through to social media and everything in between. So let's take a look. Now, all Church Media Drop All Access members get access to the January drop, and our Plus members get access to the templates for ProPresenter and Canva. So let's start with the drop, and here you can see we have a bunch of different folders, but we have our style guide, and let's start there first. This shows you kind of the overall look and style for this drop, and we have our title font, which is DM Serif Display Italics, which is a free Google font, and we have our body font, which is Figtree, and then we have a bunch of color codes here, so if we wanted to utilize one of these gold colors, we could go in here and copy that and use that in another design. Now, fonts are really important if you're going to utilize any of the editable files, and I wanted to make it easy for you to find them and install them. So we have a fonts folder in here with a .url file for the different fonts utilized. So all you need to do is double click on this file, and it's going to bring you to the Google Fonts page. We can click on Get Font, and then we can download this font, or we can go back and we can double click on the Figtree font, and that's going to again bring us right to this page. We can say Get Font, and now we can download all of them at the exact same time. Now that these are installed, you can start utilizing any of the editable files, and everything's going to look great. Let's check out the rest of the files in here. So in our widescreen folder, we have tech support files and title files. Our titles include communion, upcoming events, a bunch of giving options, including give online, giving options, tithes and offering, ways to give. Then we have a series design that I had named Made New, but would be easily edited in Photoshop to be whatever you want. And then we have New Here, See You Next Week, Have a Great Week, Night of Worship, Need Prayer, and our welcome slides. So we have a bunch of different titles, as well as all of these tech support files. We have 17 different backgrounds that you can use for tech support or for different title designs. So these are all totally unique designs that you can use in any way that you want. And all of these designs are not only in widescreen, but they're also in social media formats, 4:5, vertical formats, 9:16, and broadcast formats in lower thirds with a transparent background. So for social, you'll see here we have our 4:5 designs, and we have title versions that you can utilize. And if you don't want to use any of these titles because you're not going to talk about giving online, you can go and just add your own text to any of these blank versions that are already reformatted in the 4:5 ratio for you. Same with our vertical versions. We have a bunch of great options that you can utilize for stories on Instagram or Facebook, and you can just add in text right in Instagram's editor instead of having to go into any other tool. And then we have our broadcast versions. We have our titles here, so you can see we have our tithes and offering, we have our Made New, New Here, and you'll see how these kind of explode past the bottom lower third just to make them a little bit more professional and a little more interesting to look at when you're watching online. And we have tech support versions as well, including some that don't break past that lower third area that you can utilize for text for your live stream, for sermon notes, or anything else that you're showing on your stream. So these are very, very flexible, and I really love how they turned out. And then finally, we have our Photoshop files that you can go in and edit all of the files that are inside here, change up textures and colors and looks. Everything that you need is inside those Photoshop files. Now for Drop Plus members, you get Canva and ProPresenter versions of all of these designs. Let's take a look. So in the templates folder, you'll see a Canva folder that has more .url files that will take you right to these designs. So I'm going to go to maybe this welcome design here. I'm going to double click on that. It's going to pull this up, and we can say use template for new design. And then when we go inside Canva here, you can start editing this however you want. So we can start moving these around. Maybe maybe we want to move some of this stuff a little further out to make more space for some text, or we want to get rid of an element altogether, we can just delete it. We can go in and start editing any of this text however we want to make it into a new slide, and then you can export this as a design like you would with any Canva design. Now for ProPresenter, we have two different options, a bundle and a theme file. If you're used to using ProPresenter, themes are used to reformat slides, and the bundle I included actually includes all of the slides already built, and these are perfect for pastors, administrative staff, volunteers, or anyone who needs to create and edit presentations really quickly. So let's take a look. So let's double click this to open it in ProPresenter, and then here you'll see our entire presentation, which is ready to edit, including a style guide that's going to help us along the way. Now, if yours doesn't look like this when you open it, I would encourage you to right click and delete this presentation, then install your fonts and reopen it. Now let's take a look at our style guide. I'm going to edit this slide, and I'm going to show you how you can utilize these color swatches. We have reminders of what fonts to use, but let's say we want to change the color of this font to be a different color. Well, we could go to maybe this color swatch, and we can go over here to our color picker, and we can just add this color swatch to our swatches. Now this can be used on any slide without having to use the color picker. So maybe we want to add in this dark one and maybe the dark orange one. Whoops, that's the wrong one. We can color pick this color and then drag and drop it in there, and we can color pick this color and drag and drop it in there. So we have a few different options here, and then we can maybe do a blue one as well. So let's just drag and drop that one in there as well. So now we can go to our style guide, we can go to our text color, and then we can just say, let's make it that light gold color. And now we have a new color for that text in here. We can go through and edit some of these other slides. Again, all of the text in here is fully editable and ready for you to convert this to whatever you need, or just utilize it the way it is. So these are very, very easy to update. I also included, after our upcoming event slide, where you could maybe go in and double check and double click on your website here and actually update that to be whatever your website is. But on this one, I added a list of events, and this is not only just a list of events, but this is actually fully animated. So each line is going to come out one by one, and I'm going to just show you real quick how that works. So we're going to go to Edit, we're going to select this text box and go to the Build options. Down here at the bottom, you'll see the build order that's happening, and basically what this is saying is after the transition, animate in with a push, and this one's going to animate with the first one after 0.2 seconds, and with the next one after 0.2, and so on. So if we add one more line of text, another line of text, now we need to make sure that this moves in the way it's supposed to. So instead of on click, I'm going to say with build 4, and we're just going to say after 0.2 seconds, so it's slightly delayed. And now we can go back out here and view that, and now all 5 lines of text show up. So that's how you can add or subtract lines of text from that build out there. Then we have all of our other options in here that we can go through and update. And then finally, we have all of our teaching and sermon note options. So you'll see here we have a bunch of different text support options, including important key phrases and next steps, which again is built to reveal one by one, so you can go in and reveal those as well. And then we have some other options in here, and we have editable versions of all of our lower thirds. Now the theme file will bring in a ProPresenter theme that looks like this for our full screen graphics, and we can go back and we can check out what our lower thirds version looks like here. And so these again you could apply to a slide to reformat them. Now another way that you could change these is really easily utilizing our background graphics. So all of these slides are built by using the blank versions of different designs. So this is the prayer blank, but we could change that to be something else. So let's go back to our drop and go to widescreen, go to our text support, and now we could just find another one, maybe this one for prayer, instead of the one that's currently there. So I'm going to drag and drop that on there. We're going to say right over because we know that we want to use the one that we just dropped in. And now we have a new background here. And this is awesome because it feels like a new design. Now I could go with something else in here. So maybe we want to try this one and see how this one works. So we could drag and drop this in, and and you'll see that the text is kind of hard to read. So let's go in and we're gonna right click and say edit slide. And now we can grab this text box and we can change the color of this so it's easier to see. And we could go use one of these presets. So what about that dark gold? Looks pretty good. And so now we could select this text box and do the same thing and go back and make that dark gold color. And now we have a new design. Maybe this needs to be a little bit easier to read, so we can maybe make that dark blue color. And now we have a totally custom new version of that Need Prayer slide that looks different than the one that you got. Because these are so easy to design, you can make these for anything. So let's change one of these to be a men's breakfast. So let's go down to night of worship. And I already kind of showed you how you could do this with this team night. So same slide, just changed out the text, but let's change this out and change it into a men's breakfast. So we'll just go here and say men's and breakfast. And then we could, just adjust this a little bit so it looks a little bit better. We're going to kind of tuck this S and K together so that it kind of looks a little nicer there. And then if we wanted to move our subtitle around, we could, but there we go. We have a brand new design that is ready to go for our men's breakfast. These were all designed to be super flexible so you can use them for any event and it will still look really nice and everything can have a cohesive brand and feel for your church. And I actually utilized this same idea of just kind of rebranding for a audio devotional that my church is doing through the book of 1 Samuel. And so for this, my pastor went and generated one with AI and sent it over to me, and I utilized his design that you can see here, and then I brought in that crown element and I just reutilized that night of worship graphic. I added this golden one to the beginning, brought in his crown, added some text and a little sign up button, and we're done. It was a really easy design to do, and so hopefully you can utilize all of these graphics and designs to meet all of your needs for this next season, whether it's the next week, the next month, or even the next 6 months, that you could utilize these designs for all of your graphic needs. If you have any questions, please let me know. Brad at churchmediadrop.com.